So our guest today, guys, needs no introduction at all. Everybody, of course, here knows Thach. What I love about Thach is that everything that he does is mission driven and impact driven. Of course, it's about building wealth, but I think more importantly, what's most impressive is that he's an impact driven entrepreneur, and he's touched countless lives now across the country. And we'll get to meet some of those folks here in Tampa when we get together with Tong and his group. But just so excited to get to share some time. We'll do a fireside chat style call today, so it's just going to be kind of a conversation. We'll dig into some of your journey, some of the mindset, because I know that's a big part of your platform, the
Yep.
mindset that fueled your success, and then the strategies that you're using not to just build wealth, but also to build impact and further your mission. So, from the above asking community to you, Thach, and your community, thank you so much for the opportunity to have some time with you. We're so grateful.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm excited to be here, you guys. When Mark reached out to me and he said he's from Tampa, and I knew Tampa relatively decent just from tongue. I was like, we got to collaborate, baby. We got to collaborate.
Awesome, so good. So let's start with personal journey and mindset. So doing some research on you, Thatch. I think your story is probably one of the most inspiring stories in the REI space. Kind of this refugee beginnings to this life of amazing financial freedom and now impact. So I wanted you to just take a second and walk us through kind of that early beginnings to kind of where you are now and what drove you to start building wealth in real estate. Because I think just the disparity from there to hear, like to think somebody could do that is amazing. I think that would be inspiring for them to hear.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I was born in Vietnam in 1970, and my dad worked for the U.S. military as a translator back in Vietnam during the war. And in 1975, April 30th, 1975, the U.S. troop decided to pull out of Vietnam during the Vietnam War. And so, um, and so when the U.S. troop was pulling out, um, my dad worked next to a guy named Hal Peterson, and Hal basically was like the guy that was working with the U.S. Army. And Hal's boss and Hal told my dad, you should come out and you should leave to the US with us because if you don't, when the Vietnamese communists take over, they're probably going to kill you guys if they actually find out, you used to work for the US military. Now, I want you got to think about this, okay? This is what I call destiny. My dad was 31. My mom is 29. She's pregnant with my sister, and I have four brothers, okay? And so I was 5 years old. And my dad, speaking of English, but he wasn't, fluent. My mom don't speak no English. And we actually had less than $100 to our name. And we had a choice. And I want you to think about it, okay? I just had my big annual springboard event in Newport Beach, California this weekend. And the theme was, are you committed or are you interested? When you're interested, there's always an excuse. When you're interested, you always make an appointment always during the time you should be working. When you are interested, any valid reason why you can't achieve your goal, you always use that to block what you got to do. But when you're committed, there ain't no excuses, period. You just make shit happen. And so my dad had a choice. Are we gonna commit to get on this last plane? We are. We won't come back. We're gonna leave everybody back because can't take all my auntie, all my cousins. Or am I just gonna stay back and hopefully I don't get captured? So at 31 years old with four kids and pregnant mom, my dad figured where we're gonna live, where we're gonna $100, where we're gonna live, right? And so for him, the fear of staying back is greater than the fear of don't know what to do. And why most people don't do things in life, like real estate investing, because they don't know where to get started. But they let that fear stop them and they rather be stuck with the fear of being complacent for the rest of their life, which is the worst regret ever, right? So my dad got on a plane and we left to the United States with the troops. Landed in Camp Pennington in San Diego. Lived in a homeless shelter there for a few months, and then we got shipped up to Seattle. Stayed in the homeless shelter up there for a few months, and then we finally ended out living with a sponsorship for 2 years. And then my dad got a job, and we lived in a two-bedroom, one-bath house for 8 of us, and that's where I started my life in Seattle. And I went to school like every other kid. We didn't have no money. I remember I used to go to the food bank and collect, block cheese and big giant ass cereal boxes, right? And that was my life. And I graduated from high school in '88. I went to college, follow my two older brother footsteps to fix aviation airplane because that was their thing. And that's the word. It was their thing. It wasn't my thing. But I was lost. And I just followed my two older brother footstep. I went and got my A&P mechanic license. I graduated in '91. And Patrick, I just wasn't inspired. Alaska Airlines said, if you want to work with us, fix airplane, you got to go to Denver. I had no money, David, and I was living with my mom and dad. I'm like, what the hell am I going to do in Denver? I'd rather stay at home. So I ended up working three jobs. I worked at a grocery store called Safeway, like a Ralph, as a dairy manager, parked cars on the weekend at a Chinese restaurant, and I worked at a body shop. And I started my real estate career as an agent in 1991. And my first 3 years in real estate, I didn't do much. I was lost. And then you guys ever know this guy named Mike Ferry? He's very known in the real estate space. And I got coaching underneath Mike Ferry. Tyler, he inspired me to go out there and go and talk to sellers and ask for listings. And so I was so dumb like Forrest Gump. I was like, that sounds easy to me. I made 100 flyers and I went and door knocked 100 doors a day, 5 days a week for 10 years straight. And I started my career with zero sale. And the following year, after Mike Frey knocking on 100 door, of course, the first year it was 99%, 99 no, one lead, that kind of thing, right? And my first year I did like 5 or 8 deals. And the second year, 20 deals. And the third year, 30. And then 40 deals. And then 50 deals. The next year, and then 70 deals. And then 80 deals. I was doing 170 deals a year. Me, my wife, and one buyer assistant and one assistant. And we were doing 150, 175 deals a year. And 80% of them were listing. And I was just known for listing houses. And then one day, my mentor saw, who's still my mentor today, said, you should be buying those ugly houses on the street when you're out there door knocking versus keep selling them. Because you can be rich selling real estate. You can do that for the rest of your life. Or you can own the real estate. And then one day, you have enough passive income where you can trade your money back for time. And nobody does that in real estate. They also busy want that instant gratification money called commission checks or work a 9 to 5 or own a business. But nobody take the money they make and buy rental. And then one day you have enough passive income. So Saul inspired me to take the money I was making with my commission check. And every time I had enough money, basically, you guys, I bought me a rental. And I made a commitment to buy one rental every year, right? And then a couple years down the road, I made a commitment to do two rental every year, and then eventually three rental every year. And I had a minimum to do it every year. And I was just taking all my money buying rental, buying rental. Fast forward today, if you would have asked me to write a business plan, if you'd have asked me to dream big, I would have never thought, friends, that somebody said, write me a 10-year goal, write me a 20-year goal. I would have never wrote in 1995 when I started buying my first rental, I would have wrote, one day, a Vietnamese refugee who didn't speak English, had no money, will have over 200 some property, all in Seattle. The average price is literally $800,000. No investor, no syndication, and I have over $100 million in real estate, over 100 some thousand dollars in passive income, and they're not even paid off yet. Once it's paid off, it'll be over $250,000 a month in income every single month with no investor. All the investment property I own purely came from me working every day, save my money, and then leveraging my money and buying the right property so I can just parlay my money. Now, in my early career, I did syndicate some deals, but after a while, I started, understand the bird strategy really well. I didn't need to go out there and get a lot of investors because it was a pain in the ass because I always had to update them what's going on, and I move so fast, and I can't wait for someone to approve what I'm doing and say yes to what I'm doing or vote what I'm doing is yes. it just slowed me down. And in the good time, they rave about you. And in the bad time, they want their money back. You know, just like sports, when you're winning, you're the favorite team. And then when you're losing, they hate you. You know what I mean? And I just made a standard basically that I'm never gonna go back to raising money. Not because I can't. I can tell you, if I show you my Instagram, I got the biggest influencer, the biggest basketball player, football player, baseball player in my DM asking me, can I send you 1 million, 5 million, 10 million plus in cash? Don't want it. Because I realized, Mark, honestly, you guys, think about this. This is where mindset comes in. If you're debt free, how much passive income do you really need to have a really good life? You don't need 1,000 doors. You don't even need 500 doors. You don't even need 100 doors. If you had 30 grand a month debt free, you can live like a king. Now, I'm not saying you should be jumping on a private jet every single week, and that's your lifestyle. That's different. I'm talking about once in a while, you go have a extravagant lifestyle, hop on a private jet, right? I'm not talking about every single day. Even celebrities can't even do that. But you got 30 grand debt free, you living good. So when you go to these big conference and you have people come on and talk big things, and they talking about 1,000 doors, 500 doors. If you debt free, you got 30, 40 grand a month. Are you kidding me, you guys? You are living so damn good. And people they need to hear that perspective. Okay. Now I have a lot of property, but I don't do it because I need it. I do it to inspire other people to get started in this game.
I think it's a good question because so you're saying, hey, like you don't need to have this huge amount of money. 30 grand could change your whole life, right? You can live an amazing
And
life.
the word is debt-free
You're so
lifestyle, people.
debt free. Yeah. So you're so far in your journey, and I hear you often talk about like this power of vision, right? Like really envisioning, right? So, I'm curious, what was your vision early on, maybe in terms of passive income or what you wanted to do as an investor, and how has that evolved now that you're so far in the journey?
That's a good question. Some of you can appreciate this. When I first got started, I didn't have, I'm on a vision of 20 grand a month. It was too far out. I did have a vision to replace my mom's income so she can stop working. And my mom was making like 30 grand a year. This is back in the, 19, like 1999 or something like that, 2000. And for me, and all of us, sometimes we can't reach 10 years out, but you can reach right in front of you. And for me, Amon, it was like, if I can retire my mom, which is basically enough passive income so I can have her stop working, that was what fueled me to keep going. After I retired my mom, the next one, Mark, was I want to retire my dad. He was a social worker and he was making like, 70 grand a year. And as long as I get enough money to do that and some, that was my next benchmark. And then I just worked my way up and my way up, my way up, my way up. So today, I don't even look for the amount of passive income. Today, I want to show people how they can have 50,000 a month, 70,000, 100,000 a month, 200,000. Not to say you have to do that, Tyler, but inspire you to say it is possible, but do it for the right reason.
So, many of us in the group, we're like getting into our first deal, maybe scaling up to 5 deals. Like we're trying to create the cash so that we can own the rentals, right? And keep and start building wealth long term. So we're just kind of in the thick of it. What advice would you give to the group for us to stay motivated when things just seem messy and difficult and we're trying to scale?
Yes. Here's the thing, everybody. You got to get clear on what's your end game. It start with mindset. This is why you got to notice my whole entire wardrobe is nothing but mindset. My Lamborghini is mindset. My other Lamborghini says align. My Rolls Royce says dream big. These are all personal license plates I put on my car. Is a symbol of telling people, right? Mindset, mindset, mindset. So you got to start with the end in mind. You cannot go on a vacation without creating the end in mind first. You don't mind, nobody buy an airplane ticket and go, I'll figure where I'm going to go after that. So when I start with somebody, if I was coaching someone like, let's say Tyler, I would ask Tyler, for example, a question like, right? How much passive income do you really need every month to live comfortably? And let's say Tyler said to me, right? And I say to Tyler, for example, what does it cost you to live now? And Tyler might say to me, it cost me 20 grand to live. And at 20 grand to live, he got a nice house. He got, he can go out all the time. That's a good lifestyle. And I said to Tyler, what if you can get 25, 30 grand a month in passive income as your end game and you get debt free? And 30 grand a month and debt free, holy shit, that's like, 75 grand for someone every month with debt, right? So Tyler says 30 grand a month. I say, great. I would ask Tyler, what is the average rent in your area? And he might say to me, let's call it 3 grand. So I would say, great. So what you're saying is you're going to get 10 rental accumulated and then get them paid off. You have 30 grand a month. And he'd say, yes. Then I would say to Tyler, what's important about that for you? What would that mean to you? And what would that mean to your family? What would that mean to your kids? What would it mean to your generation for your kid behind that? What would that mean? And I want Tyler to get so clear and emotionally connected to. Now, for me, I'm gonna tell you, Tyler, for me, when I say this word, it means different for everybody else. When I think about passive income, having 30 grand, 50 grand, when I was thinking back then, when I say the word is this, what it means to me is freedom. And freedom to me, when I say freedom in my brain, what it means, you guys, is I can live anywhere I want to live. I can live in Vietnam, in the communist world, but I have the money to move out of Vietnam and live in the United States where it's free. My cousin live in Vietnam. They're smart as hell, but the best job they can get is $100 a month, $100 a month, or 200 bucks a month max. I get to live in the United States and I can make unlimited amount of money. Freedom to say what I want to say, do what I want to do, anytime I want to do it. Most people can't have that choice living in some country or they don't have the money. So the word freedom to me, right, mean that option, freedom, option, and choices. And it means something different to me than it might mean something for Kelsey, right? So you guys got to get deep. Because here's the thing: when I started, freedom to me was retire my mom, so that she don't have to work 10 hours a day and still come home and cook dinner at 7 o'clock at night, and then get back up at 6 in the morning and go back to work. And she worked at a factory, making $30,000 a year, and still come home every night at 7, cook dinner for a family of 8. So it drives me. If every one of you guys, mom or dad, was sick with cancer like mine was, you swim across the lake to get them the money they need to take the money to go and give them cancer cure, like I did. My dad had cancer, you guys, and it cost $15,000 for a bag of cancer, and his insurance didn't cover that. So I swam across the ocean to get the money to save him. After 5, 6 bags of chemo, it killed him, and then we buried him. That's deep. That's what drives me today. It had to be that emotional. Once you get locked in like that, Tyler, then your job, two phases. One, to figure out how to get the money to accumulate 10 property. Once you get to 10 property, then pause for a second, pay them off. Once it's paid off, reset, go again. And those 10, you never mess with them. You put line of credit on them, use the line of credit to take the money out, do something, bring it back, but you never gamble the house money. You do that, you can enjoy this business with peace of mind, because most people don't. Most people leverage everything over and over, even at 50 rental, and it's all leverage. You see, they didn't gone through what I gone through in 2008 when I had millions of property and I leveraged them a lot doing apartment building, and the apartment space went to shit. and I lost $5 million literally overnight. But the 5 million wasn't the hard thing, David. It was a sleepless night that was hard. And that's what I would tell them, right? And so for you guys, you have to either A, two things. There's two income that you have to master. One, you have to master increasing your active income. The more active income you have, the faster you can create the second income called passive income. Most people, they get so lazy, they don't want to create active income. And what do? They go out there and raise other people's money. Well, why not do both? Why not go out there and be creative and create active income and raise money if you want to do raise money? I can do both. I choose not to. So you got to get more active income through the front door so you can buy more property. And if you want to raise, and I'm going to give you a secret. If you can actually create good active income and raise capital, investor will throw money at you because they know you ain't broke.
I want to get a little tactical for a second because I know you know about our market because Phong, he's here and active in the market.
Yep.
So if you know you've done flips, long-term holds, you've done everything over 30
Yep.
years, of course. But if you were starting fresh today, 2025, maybe
Yes.
in the context of Tampa will be helpful for the group, but just in general, I think our opportunities are very similar to Seattle's,
Yes.
though a lower price point. But
Yep.
where would you start if you were starting fresh today towards that edge?
Here's what I would do. If you are new and you don't own any property yet, so there's five strategies that I actually teach people. If you're new, I teach you how to house hack, but house hack the right property. House hack property where you can expand the house and you have enough yard for future development. Okay? That's the key word, everybody. Buy the right property where it's a two bed, one bath. You can make it a 2-2 or a 3-2. Okay? And then enough yard with access to the back for future development because Tampa is locked in around water like Seattle. So you cannot build no more land. And with the house shortage right now across America, and you guys' city is so tight, surrounded by water, they're gonna have to raise density, which they already are raising density now. So,
Absolutely.
but the thing I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna teach you right now, is it's happening in your own backyard. But most investors, they don't know this because they just don't study it. It's called ADU. Okay. So I'm gonna go there in a minute. But I'm gonna say, Mark, if I was new, so the five strat I teach is house hack. If you're new, buy that with 5% down with backyard. If you need to create money, wholesale and flip houses to make more money. If you're gonna buy rental, right? You can either buy turnkey. If you got more money than time, buy turnkey. If you have more time than money, buy ugly houses and rehab them and get your original down payment back out, called the Burr strategy.
Yeah.
The Burr strategy is coming back. Burr is back. Okay? Watch. Quote me when I tell you this. We're gonna go below 6% soon. This is my fourth decade in real estate. It's the fourth real estate cycle. Every cycle is around 10 years. This is the fourth cycle I've been in. It's the exact repeat of what it was the last three cycle. Inflation kicks up, they raise the rate to slow the machine down. They slow the machine down, they drop the rate to get the economy going again. And then they wait till 10 more years, they raise the rate up again, and they drop. It's the repeat. It's the exact repeat, step by step by step. So as the rate continues to drop below 6%, the burr is back. The last thing that I teach today, which is so critical today because we don't have no more land. You can't tear down a decent house because it don't make no sense. Single family residents are the biggest number of property out there compared to commercial that has land left.
Mm.
So what the city is doing, you guys, is that they're trying to create more housing because we have a 5 million plus home shortage. And what they're doing is they're allowing people to put accessory dwelling unit on their single family lot without rezoning the lot. That's the key word. You're not rezoning it. They just do this thing. It's a HOA little form. It's the simplicity explaining it. It's an HOA form that they lay over your lot that says you can build another unit on your property, and bam, you're in. They doing it now across America, and I'm gonna show you data in a minute about Tampa that they're doing it now in a specific city in your area. So if I was new today, if you don't own a property, if you are okay with buying a house that's tired, David, buy yourself a single family up to a 4 unit with 3.5 to 4% down with a yard. Live in the property, rent out portion of the property. If it's single family, rent out portion of it. If it's a multi-family, live in one, live there for 1 year, and then repeat the process. Then you move on, and then you actually, right now, if you actually buy a property with a big yard soon here, if you choose to, whenever you want to, you can build it in the backyard. And there's a lot of banks that understand this game. Hard money lending, our hard money lending do this for all of our students across America. You get plans to permit and the ARV high enough, we will fund the ADU with no money down. Yes. Yes, Chelsea. Your eyeball was like, yes, it is. So if I was starting over, house hack or buy Burr in Tampa with big lots. That's the secret right now. Lock in the deal before rates get down into the five when everybody else is going to chase after it. Okay?
I want to come back to the data about Tampa. I'm so glad that you did the research. That'll be awesome for us. But I do want to grab this while we have you because I think it's important for this group in particular. So I know you're an expert at building teams, right? So you've built this business, many different businesses over multi decades.
Yep.
So you don't do that alone, right? You can't grow to 100 million alone. So you're an expert at building teams. What are the 2 or 3 key roles as an investor that you should put in place if you're at this period where you're scaling the business?
Yes. Number one, the most important thing, and hear me when I say this, everybody, because people don't get this. None of us on this call right now, not Melissa, not David, not Patrick, not Bernie, none of us are investor primary. Investor is a secondary job for us. Our number one job for the highest ROI is to make it rain. Find deals. Be a great marketer. Learn how to find deal. Your highest gift as a real estate investor, your highest ROI, David, as a real estate investor, is to make it rain. Make it rain. Every time you wake up in the morning, when you wake up, you go, that's it. Make it rain. Make it rain. Make it rain. That's your job. Make it rain. Because if you can make it rain when you have the deal in your palm, you can either buy it, flip it, or wholesale it. And you make money no matter what. So, in order to make it rain, you have to get as many realtor in your town knowing you are a money bag and you got money to spend.
Yes, sir.
Okay? I have over 100 realtor in Seattle know when there's an ugly house and they want somebody to close it fast and quick and easy, they call Thach win. That's how they should know you. Second, every wholesaler in town, other investor, lender, banker, co-worker, friend, family, be it B2B business should know you have money and you buy real estate deal. So when they think of property, they think of real estate, they think of property work. Who do I know that want to buy this? Oh, you got to buy real estate. You got to talk to Mark. Here's his number. And you need to be on social media and tell the story. Share when you're walking through a house. Share when you're looking at an ugly house. Share when you go buying a toilet. And tie it back to you are an investor to buy real estate in Tampa. The more they see you, the more they know what you do. So 80% of your content should be around real estate, inspiring people, not saying bring me deal, but you showcase what you are looking at, what you are previewing, what project you're working on, the stages, and videotape them. That's the
Well, I've
first
heard
thing
you
you got to do.
I've heard you say this before, Thatch, in your content. You're like, there's these two different types of content. You can have like lifestyle content, or you can have content that this is what I do, right? Like, and then you have to choose where you want to go. But if you want to grow as an investor, the content has to be, hey, look, this is what I do. So you're constantly, telling that message, right?
Yeah. So for me, you guys, this is how it is. In my That's personal brand, there's three things I talk about: real estate, lifestyle, and cars. Lifestyle and car has a bigger TAM, meaning right, more people watch it. Okay.
What goes to the
So in
market, right?
a pie shape, okay, lifestyle and car plays like 60% of my content. Why,
Mm,
you ask?
mm,
Because it bring the eyeballs to my site.
right.
And 40% is real estate thoughts, strategy, tips, right? Material. You guys, if you guys follow me, I make material lists and people love it because I know people are lazy. All they want to do is cut and paste. And so every time I make a material list, they go, shit, that's just drop. What type of floor to buy? And they go back and they watch it over and over and over and over so they can get the name, the code to go buy it. Do the
Yeah.
same thing, people. When you do
Yeah.
that, they're loyal to you because you're loyal to them.
Yeah. It's so cool. One shot is like this amazing Lamborghini, and then the next it's like the doorknobs.
That's
Buy
it.
this doorknob. Don't buy
Now,
that doorknob.
now I tell you, when I met Tong, you guys, 4 years ago, I inspired Tong to make social media the same way. So Tong has lifestyle and real
Yeah.
estate, and his personal brand has grown massively. And him and his mom, Judy Bao Garden, he done the same thing over there, and it blew up. He got like like 2, 3 million subscriber now on that channel
I
because
think
it's a combination.
his car collection is rivaling your car collection.
That's what I'm
He's working
saying, bro.
on
He
it.
got mindset on his car also, baby. Okay. But you guys, here's the thing. If you talk about real estate only, the TAM is very small. That makes TAM mean visibility. Not everybody needs to hear about real estate. It can become boring sometimes. So you got to think 40% real estate, 60% whatever it is that you love. If you love to cook, cook, right? 60%, right? And then real estate 40, blend it. That way you can bring it in. I'm telling you, that's the secret on creating content.
I want to talk while we have you a little bit about mission, impact, legacy, because I know this is so important to you, and I think it's like the fuel behind it all. Because what you've done with your brand, I think most importantly is like people are like, man, he's great at real estate, he's wealthy, he's awesome, but oh, I think he's a great human, right? And I think that just has a lot to do with like the impact, focus for you. So I think it's the one thing that we probably all most admire about what you're doing. Can you share a little bit about what drives that mission, or you're
Yes.
so focused on impact?
I get a phone call one day from my mom and dad and said, can you come over to the house and don't bring your wife, Cammy? I walk into the house and my mom and dad sitting on the sofa with a really sad face, Kim. And I asked my mom and dad, what's wrong? And my dad gave me this piece of paper that says, and I read it, and it says, cancered. That's $6 million. We took my dad everywhere, flew him wherever he needed to go to save his life. A year later, he passed away in my hand. Money mean nothing. So when my dad passed away, we have a spiritual teacher in our family to oversee our family. And I asked my spiritual lady, why my dad leave at 65 years old? And the spirit lady said, your dad's getting old. He's sick. He's been sick for a while. And he has to leave because he's transitioning out so he can give you the torchlight to go do his work. My dad was a social worker, you guys, for many years in the US. I don't know what happened, you guys, but when I heard that, it didn't scare me to be the person to hold the torch and be the lighthouse. Not just for my own family, not for my own kids, but everyone. So that was the beginning. In 1997, 2007, my dad passed away, that I just took the opportunity, Chelsea, to be the lighthouse for people. And so the lighthouse means to inspire and empower people to see that anything is possible through my own journey of life. And so today, I have a coaching business, but it's secondary. I have a company that inspire and empower people to dream big. They see that anything is possible through me owning real estate. As a byproduct, I get paid.
Sure.
I get to come here and inspire and empower you guys to dream big, to see that anything is possible by having freedom by owning real estate. Because Mark, right? I talk to Mark many times. I see what he does. I love it. He has a community in Tampa where Tong live, and I just thought it was a great, collaboration. That's why I'm here. I don't say yes to everybody because my schedule is so busy that I just can't be everywhere. But when I meet certain people and I feel there's an alignment between me and them, then I'm a yes to them. And so today I teach a lot of people. I speak at a lot of conference. I speak at a lot of webinars, do a lot of podcasts with people to get the message out to dream big. Anything is possible. Chase after your goal. And then with that, like my springboard community, what I do is a lot of the student, when we go and raise money for charity, today in Seattle, I work with low income housing and I work with low income family. I work with the Seattle Sound FC soccer team, and I go build houses and I get all my vendors to donate all the material. I and my team build it for free, and then all the profit I would sell it and I donate all the money. So we have been fortunate to donate probably close to $3 million in the last 3 years, pure cash, not endowment, but pure cash, so that we can build soccer field for low income family, build houses for low income family. And that's what I do with a lot of my Springboard students. They help donate money and they help do things, and that's one of the legs that I do. And I sit on a lot of different boards, also in Seattle for affordable housing. So that's my way of giving back with people and charity and organization.
Maybe. For many of us, like this thought of like focusing on purpose, it just seems like far away because we're
Right.
still trying to build and we're like we feel like we're stuck chasing money, just trying to get there so we can finally be free or just finally get on our feet and then breathe. What would you say to someone who feels like they're stuck chasing money instead of really focusing on building a life of purpose and impact?
You gotta think beyond yourself. If you already had the money, what would you be doing to make a difference? If you already had enough passive income, what would you already be doing to make a difference? And you really think about it, why couldn't you do both at the same time? So what happened is that if this is the goal to make money, you need a purpose beyond that. So you're chasing after the purpose, and your own self will be taken care of in the journey of chasing after purpose. And I tell you, when you chase after purpose, everybody want to help you chase after the purpose, and everybody want to help you with your goal. See, purpose and vision. What you want is a goal, but when you don't have purpose, nobody want to help your goal. But everybody want to help your purpose. If you chase after purpose, they will help you with your goal and your purpose. When they got a deal, they send you your deal. When they think about real estate, they think of you because they think of the purpose, not of your goal.
Yes, you answered what I had as the next question. It's just like, how do you think focusing on impact makes you a better investor? And I think you just you nailed it, right? It's yeah, if you just impact driven mindset, everything else falls into place because people just they want to help people that are
They
that
want
that
to
have
help.
that heart towards the world,
When you
right?
have purpose, you guys, you really have followers, supporter, believers, right? That want to follow you. They want to support you. They want to advocate for you. And in that process, if you have your own personal goal, those same follower, advocate, supporter, believe follower, they will help you achieve your goal also because they love you as a person, not as a real estate investor. And they want to support you. But if you look at in the world of real estate investing, most, I hate to say it, most real estate investor, what I call is commission breath. It's all about them. But if you go beyond that, you don't have to wait till you get there. You can actually think of it now. Make sense, you
What does that
guys?
look like? What does that look like in practice? That's like, so
Let's just
if we're
say, for
going towards
example, let's say I lived
commission
in
and
Tampa, and let's say
okay.
Tampa has a really shortage of affordable housing. And I found an organization in Tampa that advocate for affordable housing. I go work with them. I ask them,
Mhm.
what's the problem? What do you need? What do we got to do to create that? What do we got to do to help that? I brainstorm with them. And they might say to me, that we don't have enough housing for rent in this area. And then I start collaborating with them. Well, what if I can get some of my investor to rent their house out for Section 8 just for your organization so you can run the family through there and help them? That's how I started. I started on a board called First Place. And First Place was a school for transitional family coming out of homeless shelter. And they're good people. They just got caught up at the wrong time. And no landlord wanted to rent to these family. So when I came onto the board and I found out what the problem was, I said, you know what I do? How many houses do you need for rent? And at that time, they needed like 4 or 5. Then I designated 5 houses for this nonprofit to rent them out for transitional families to stay there for a year, and then they move on to the next transitional part. And so the nonprofit, they work with the housing authority and they have Section 8. So Section 8 will pay the school, and the school will pay me. And then I use these 5 houses and let these families come through, live there for a year, and then Section 8 will pay for it. And then these families after a year, they move out and they go on to the next phase. So now we're using my house so they can transition through, so they don't have to be homeless. And that was the purpose. See, I did real estate with a purpose. Today I buy fixer upper and I use vendors to donate all the material and I fix them up myself with my team and then I'll sell them. I take all the profit and I donate. And some of the profit we fixed houses in Seattle, they're like 200,000, 300,000, $400,000 profit on a deal. And I donate
Wow.
all the money to charity.
Wow. Amazing.
Okay. So when you do stuff like that once or twice a year, today the owner of the Seattle Sounder say to me, anything you need, my man, I got you back. The president, the vice president, right? The whole organization. Any game that Seattle Sounders have, anytime I wanted to go to a game, they provide me a suite for my whole entire family every home game. I don't ask for it. I don't never abuse it. You know what I mean? But that's real estate with a purpose, you guys.
Of course, we can sit here. I can sit here all day and just listen to you go. But I want to be mindful of the group a chance to ask questions because I'm sure they're burning in the background. But before we jump into Q&A with the broader group, you mentioned that you had some data on Tampa, so I
Yes.
wanted to get your view
Can
because I know
you
it's going to be really, really important
can
for
you allow
us.
me to share my screen, Mark?
Yes, yeah, of course.
Okay, here we go. So this is Tampa. Obviously, you gotta live there, right? There's tongue right there. The word called Tampa, right in the middle, in big red. Okay. So here's what I do. Is there ADU in Tampa? Look, yes, accessory dwelling unit are allowed in Tampa, Florida, but regulations exist regarding where they can be built and specific requirement. The city has reformed the policy, right? Look, currently ADU are currently permitted in specific geographic areas. See, look where they're located. ADU neighborhood right now permitted to is that area height, the Lower Park, the East Side Bay overlay, and Temple Heights. If I knew this, I would go to this planning department and I will ask them how many permits have you guys have given to these area, and can I check it out? Who are the architects that have done these? And I will go and study this, and I want to see how they did it, what they built, and I want to sit down with all the architect and city planner and find out exactly. Because look, some of the neighborhood where ADU are permitted right now. Now you might not find them on MLS because why? Because most people built them for rent. But it doesn't matter they built it for sale or whatever. You just need to know the information what they did. So if they told me, oh yeah, we had 150 permit in the last 24 months, I will go find out all what they did. Who are the architect of these? And they're gonna be very common, probably the top 4 or 5 of them. And I'll take every one of them out and I'll take them to lunch And I said, I'm an investor. I got a lot of money. I want to do ADU. I want to take you out because I want to build and I want to know how we can work together. And I will let those architects and city planner educate me on zoning, requirement, setback, square footage. And look, the city had reinformed the policy in July 2024, right? For the housing right here, okay? How to get more information, Tampa map. Look, there's a map that shows where all the ADUs currently allowed right now. We have that in Seattle. That's the exact same thing. And then I did this. Look, Channel 9. This lady, she's a singer. When singer and songwriter Beth Whatever turned her garage into an accessory dwelling unit, and she consulted with a city and the architect to make this possible. I'll find out, Tong and Mark, who is the architect that made this possible. And look, see, this article everywhere on Tampa. It's already happening. And this is why, if I'm looking at this map, I ask myself, now you want to stay out of the flood zone because flood zone is expensive, right?
Yeah.
But where are the non-flood zone that's happening in Tampa? And if I read this right, I start with these areas first. And I go find out everything I need to know about that. And what I do, you guys, is this. I show you guys what I do in Seattle, just to get an idea. This is one of my property I just bought recently. It didn't look this nice. It looked like this across the street. It looked like that when I bought it just recently. And I just remodeled it. And so let's just say this was Lower Park, Tampa. What I want is I want to find property look like this, you guys. An ugly house with a backyard. In a more better area, more specific. Look, I want a corner lot like this. See how the house? See how there's a corner lot? Look at that. That's a corner lot. I can get to it.
Yeah.
Or alley. See this alley? Look, okay. I own this property. I own this property, this property, this property. I own this property, this property, this property, this property. I own all those within literally a 1 block radius. I'll try to
Of
buy
today,
property on the corner. See?
as of today, there's no ADUs on those properties, but your
That's
vision
right.
is to
Because I
put
just bought
ADUs.
these.
You
Here's
just
80
bought
right
them.
here. See?
Okay,
Right there.
sure.
That,
Okay.
this is my friend's property. Trying to get her to sell it to me. I'm looking at this property right here. Right here. This whole entire project right here. The old dated apartment building. Right? But I just bought this recently. This house and this house, they all got backyards. See, with the alley. And I literally just bought it, just got done with it, and I put two ADU right here. So if I was in Tampa, I find out those three area. I will go look at these area right here, and I go find out exactly what the requirement is. And then, and once I know that, I will go and prospect and hunt old houses, ugly houses with backyard. Number one, houses on the corner are the best. Second, if you're gonna be in lot, get an alley or get a driveway you can get to the backyard. Those are the three things you want to get: alley, corner lot, inside with a driveway. And I will work on that. I would dominate. Right now, everybody don't know this play yet. If you buy it, knowing it's already here, you don't have to build it. Sit on it. Right now in Seattle, in that area I just showed you guys, I have over 50 houses with backyard that I bought a long time ago. Now I can put 80 U's in the backyard, one or two of them, over 50 of them. I don't even have to buy no more property. I can just put more lots on it. And the great thing, the backyard, you guys, is free because you don't have to pay, came with the property. That's what I would be doing if I was in Tampa right now.
Thank you for taking us through that. And so I know some of us online are aware, and then for some of us that was a golden nugget to walk away with. But awesome, great to hear from you. So this has been amazing. I love the opportunity for this conversation. I want to open it up to the group for
Let's do
Q and
it.
A. You have Thach on the line. What questions do you have to Thach?
I'm on. What's up, brother?
What's up, Thach? Thank you for coming on. It was a powerful talk, honestly. Um, so I wanted to ask, it's funny that you made that point about your social media. I originally followed you before I was even in real estate because of your cars, because I
Ah,
love
see?
cars. It's a huge passion of mine.
Yeah.
So my question to you was, how did you balance being, safe and saving and investing, but also enjoying life and buying the things that make you happy? Was it an income thing? Was it an age thing? Was it a number of rentals thing? Where did you find that balance?
Good question. I didn't have the cars early on in my career. Now, your taste bud get better and better, right? To me, when I started real estate, you guys, a Honda Prelude was my Lamborghini back then. So I was a realtor and I was working as a commission. I was working and I always wanted a 1985 Honda Prelude. And that was like a used one was like 5 grand. And I worked my ass off to get that car, right? Then I worked my ass off to buy some rim for it. And then it just been like that. And then the next level was I made more money. The next car, I thought it was like, wow, okay? Was a brand new Acura Legend. Oh my God, I thought I went to heaven, right? And then eventually I made more money, right? And I would also start buying rentals. But these cars were so below the mean of what I was making. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Today, if someone was starting out, if their means is, if they're making money like me back then, they bought a Prelude, that was below the mean. But I see today people making money, and instead of buying a Prelude below the mean, they go buy themselves an Acura Legend, which is above their means at this time. So, for example, if I got 100 grand a month in passive income, right? Of course, I can afford a Lamborghini Revolta right now because
Mhm.
Hmm.
it's the lease is like 8 grand a month on it. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't recommend nobody doing that. Like Tong always been asking me, Dad, man, when can I get my Lambo? Not yet, brother. Not yet. Milk
On the
that
way.
GTR of yours with the until you get more rental, and soon you will get to the next level. And that's the temptation everybody have. Get social media's out now, right? But the discipline stayed below the means and built that empire. Because once you have the empire, you remember a little bit of delayed gratification. Now, I'm not saying you need a Lamborghini, but Acura Legend is good right now. For example, milk that thing, build your empire. Because later on, you can have all the Lamborghini you want, like me today. Okay, so good question,
Yeah.
Patrick. What's up, brother?
You're on mute, Still on mute, Patrick. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Thanks, Mark. Thach, remarkable story, man. You
Thank you.
got us
Thank you.
all pumped up. It's and thanks for sharing everything about your family. That's wonderful. Quick question. That first property that you bought back in the 90s, man, do you still have that one?
Absolutely, brother. I see. I have it right here. I'll show you.
All right, let's go. And how sentimental is this one to you since it was the first one, man? That's how
It's it,
important is it to you?
it's that's why I don't sell it, right? And
Got it.
and
It's the momentum.
yeah,
Keepsake. Zero to 100
right
million.
here.
No.
Look, guys, this is to show you
Shit.
appreciation is the eighth wonder of the world. Okay, cash flow is secondary. Appreciation is even bigger. I bought it in 1995 for 105,000, put 5% down. It's paid off now. It's worth 750. I get 3 grand. Look, see that driveway? That
Yeah,
driveway is to get to the back where I'm actually getting permits for the ADU today.
let's go.
See?
Awesome. Thanks,
Right?
man.
You're welcome. Yeah. It's like the first car. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah. So what is that? Is that 6x in 20? Is that 25 years? Or no,
Yeah,
28
bro.
years, right?
And
Wow.
think about the guy. It cost me 350 to build an ADU. Today, ADU in our area, we get separate APN number. Every city is gonna get that. Oh yeah, Michael. Yeah, Michael. Like what the fuck? Yeah. Listen, today, ADU in Seattle, we have separate APN. They appraise it like a house, even though it's in the backyard. That area is worth 700,000. I build it for 350. I get 100% financing, no money down. That's a full burr, infinite return on your money, right? And it's worth 700,000. There's three phases, you guys, of ADU, and it's coming to your area right now.
Mhm.
5 years ago, when I came to Seattle, you had to live in the primary house to rent to build an ADU. A year and a half go by, they said, we need to create housing. That was great. People were buying it and they're renting it out. It helped rentals. But we need to create housing so we can actually, be able to create more housing to sell. So they said the second time, the second phase was you don't have to live in the front to build the ADU. Well, that was great. Investors started buying and they started renting out both of these. But it still didn't help the affordability of house people to buy.
Mm.
2 years later, which is coming right now, 5 years now, they said if you buy a house and you put ADU in the back, we'll give you a separate APN number on a single family lot. These are 5,000 square foot lot. If the house sits towards the front and there's a house lot in the back, they let you build one house in the back with separate APN number. And what they do is they put this thing called a piece of paper called HOA right over it. And HOA is like $5. And by doing the HOA, they created a condo out of it. And they share the lot, they share the land on paper, but the individual tax, individual address, their houses. And so by doing that, now when the appraisal come out, they appraise it as a house and a house, and it just blew up. Now let me tell you something. Last November in Seattle, all the city planners, city council across the United States had a private meeting in Seattle talking about how they can duplicate this model in their own state. Every city was here. How do I know? My architect and my people was in that meeting. California right now is the next state that is the most fastest right now because they have the high density, right? They are now, Michael, basically have this thing called AB 1033, which allowed them to have separate APN. And some city right now are moving faster than other. San Jose just approved it now. So the San Jose can sell it separately now. So the whole state of California have an AB 1033 to allow a separate APN. But every city moves slower or faster depending on how fast they move. San Jose, in, out, they got it now. You guys, it's coming. So go find those land with a big yard and bank on it. All right, David G, you're up.
All right, I got hopefully a fun question here.
Go ahead.
When you got started, what would you say your biggest frustration was? And compare that to today, what are your biggest roadblockers? What are the things, the hurdles that you have to get through that are the hardest to get past?
I'm gonna say as an investor, okay,
Hmm.
not as a realtor. I started as a realtor and I transitioned into a investor. I would say my biggest challenge back then was I didn't understand how to evaluate deals, and I only had one lens, which was turnkey.
Mm,
With turnkey, you only can go so fast because you have
mm,
to you have to go out and get more money to put down again to buy again.
mm,
And so the bottleneck was, right, I didn't have enough money. And every property I buy, if I put down again back then, I house hacked the first five deal, one deal at a time, right? And then when I couldn't do that much anymore, I had to go get 10%. They had 10% back then for investment property, not 20%. And I had to go make enough money to get 10%. So I had to bust my butt off to go get 10%. So I didn't scale fast because I was buying turnkey. That was probably the biggest bottleneck for me back then. That's why when I started buying fix and flip and I was flipping it, my second frustration was no one taught me why don't I keep those fix and flip versus keeping it and then selling them as rental? Because there was many times that I've had property where I fixed and flipped, I made
mm.
20% margin
Right.
and I sold them. And I can tell you guys, if you ask any investor, nobody celebrate. They even go, man, that was great. I'm so glad I sold that deal that had the biggest margin. You know, they all say, I regret selling those good deal in a good location with good margin. Why in the hell did I not sacrifice to make it work and kept
Yeah.
it? Today, today, I would say that so many people know, right, about the Burr. So many investor, right, that know about how to go out there and find deals and make things work. So there's more competition on the street. So I have to be a
Mm,
better marketer. I have to
Mm.
I have to know more people, right? I have to plant more trees to create more fruit. And this is why the ADU is so important today, because nobody understands the ADU game. Like nobody knew about Burr back in the days.
mm,
Mm.
Now, Brandon Turner used to talk about ADU a lot. I was doing ADU a lot. But when I went on social media and started talking about Bird, that shit blew up, right? And Brandon Turner and I always like, come on, bro, you gotta give me some credit for Bird, dog. You know what I mean? Right? But I will say to you guys, there's so much competition out there, even in your own market, buying Burr.
Mm.
But what if you could pay a little more or take a little bit less margin for the property with the bigger yard?
Mm. Mm.
Because a year from now, 2 years from now, everybody's gonna wish. Because the moment the media come out with more and more article that ADU, the land value is gonna go up automatically.
Mm.
Owner is gonna know their property worth more. And at that time, everybody know the game. But be a little bit too late because you guys are here already have picked up a whole bunch of them in the last 2 or 3 years. So you gotta get creative and go into a territorial where a few people are playing, understand. And ADU, it is here. It is here. Put the fork in the ground and claim it, guys, in your area.
Love
Michael, what's up, brother?
What's going on? I'm going back to the question. So, you've seen it the last 5 years in Seattle. So Tampa is a little bit resilient to the ADUs. We do have restrictions on how big you could build them. And then
Yes.
also, if you're doing new construction and you put the ADU in the back, you're supposed to be living in it. It's supposed to be your primary residence. Is there anything you or groups have done in Seattle from the real estate perspective, investor perspective, to influence city council other than running for city council? Can we provide them data points? Can we meet with them? Is that something you've been involved with, or it's just kind of naturally happens for you in Seattle?
I have a lot of friends now advocating for housing in Seattle, and they're the one who actually help that kind of stuff. You guys to find out who are the advocator in your area around housing and go and help be part of that. When we started with ADU, they only allow ADU up to like 800 square feet, and then it went up to 1,000. And just in July of this year, they just approved it to go up to 1,200 square feet now. So it's coming. The point is progressing, you guys, because it's not that they don't want it. Remember, the one common problem everybody have is we have a shortage of housing and affordable housing. They just don't know how to figure out how to work this damn thing fast enough, right? So if I was you, and it sounds like when you guys go check with the architect, they say you don't have to live in your primary to do the ADU. So that must mean that you guys are allowed to do ADU now without it to be a primary now. So you should double check that. And then square footage. It doesn't matter. Even if you got a 700 square foot, 800 square foot, which is most sizes in California, you got a two bedroom, two bath, 800 square foot in your backyard where the backyard is free. If it costs
it.
you, 200 bucks a square foot to build it, or above your garage, you convert your garage into an ADU. It just make the value much more better, and you create an extra revenue for rent on the same property.
For sure.
All right, one last question. I gotta jump off. Come on, what's up?
Yeah, I have one more. This is an interesting one. That's you're kind of at a level that all of us are, trying to get to. What does your day to day look like? Do you have a morning routine? Do you have things that are like non-negotiables for you day to day? How does
Good
that look?
question. Good question. I wake up every morning around 4:50, 5 o'clock in the morning. My alarm clock just go automatically off, even when I'm on vacation. I have a fitness trainer Monday through Friday. I work out from 6 to 7. I come back, and after I get done, I usually spend a little time by myself inside my office, and I really sit and I visualize, I review my goals. I just get connected to my purpose, right? My goals, my kids, why am I doing all this? And then after that, before 9 o'clock, my wife and I will work together. She has her office down the hallway, and she'll go through and she debrief me on, hey, we got this project we're gonna review, we got this to be review. Let me tell you what's going on. We review it. I tell her my thoughts. She give her thoughts, and then she got it, and then she take off. She take care of it. She handle a lot of the real estate behind the scene. Okay. After that, usually at 9 o'clock, I usually either have a business meeting. Like Monday, I have a team meeting from 8:30 to 9:30 with my team, right? And then from 9:30 until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm out on the street. I'm out looking for a deal. I'm door knocking. I'm looking for a deal. I shoot content when I'm on the street everywhere I go, right? And those are my days, right? Tuesday, I have coaching call from 10 to 12 for all my students. And then after that until 3 o'clock, I'm out on the street looking for deals, looking at project and shooting content. Wednesday, literally, I dedicate all Wednesday for shooting YouTube. YouTube Wednesday is a YouTube day. Thursday, in the morning, I have time in the morning to do stuff like this. Why I have to do it in the morning, and then in after like 11 o'clock, then I have again on the street looking for a deal and doing content. I'm always doing content, okay? Because content drive everything. Friday, I have coaching call from 10 to 12 with my private mastermind group for my springboard students. And basically after that, then at 3 o'clock, I go out there and look for deal and content. I always say three because that's when I want to start slowing down, cutting off my hours of working. Because by the time 4:30, I want to be done with working. I don't want to mess with work anymore. And that's where I go spend time with my kids. They have soccer game, they have baseball game, and I go to all their events. And the Saturday and Sunday, I don't work unless it's something that's really, really important. I get it done, and then I go off, spend the rest of the weekend with my family.
I think it's really inspiring that you're still door knocking
I
by
do it.
yourself at this level. That's great.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
don't do it randomly, guy. I have a list of ugly houses, and I go after them. I call them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I knock them when I'm on the street because I love hunting for deal. Remember, I told you guys, as an investor, I'm secondary, but as a primary, I'm a rainmaker.
Mhm. I
Okay.
agree.
I want to ask Tong. Tong, what do you think, before we leave? You've been working with me for 4 years and you live in Tampa. What do you think the biggest thing that you have learned the last 4 year for you, Tong, that made you say, you guys, just so you know, Tong and Shannon, right? Tong was an engineer. His wife still is a pharmacist. 4 years ago when I met him, basically they had no property. In the last 4 years, they bought 8 property on the ninth property right now, all in Tampa, no investor. What has been your biggest thing, Tom, like you think that got you and your wife Shannon to produce that kind of result in the last 4 years?
I think with me and Shani, we're just really focused on this real estate journey because we're doing it part time. And we felt like if we didn't give it our all, then we wouldn't succeed. So literally, like right after we joined, had you as our mentor, we just every year bought like at least 2 properties a year, and we didn't really we used all our money just for real estate. By the way, I was an engineer, like Thach said, and Shani is still a pharmacist, and we just used our money only for real estate, and we had fun doing it together. So I think that really helped as well. But we just stayed focused on our goals. We said we wanted 8 doors. That was our focus. We only want BRRRR deals, and that's all we focused, and that's all we attracted.
How what percentage of your result came from mindset?
I think a lot of it, because I feel like you can't really do this without having a strong mindset. I feel
Okay.
like if you don't really commit to this and just have that resilience to like keep going, I don't think we would be as successful as we are today.
Yeah. I would tell you guys, owning rental long term is a mindset game, not a strategy game. Anybody can do the strategy, but not everybody have the mindset to practice delayed gratification. Mark, my man, I want to say thank
Amazing.
you, my brother, for giving
Thank
me the
you so
opportunity
much.
to inspire your people to dream bigger and see that anything is possible, brother.
Thank you, Thach. We're so grateful for you, and more to come with your community, and hope to stay connected. Thank you from all of us at Above Asking. You're the man. Appreciate you.